Good evening, the insiders. Dozen McBroady here. Live to you from my back living room of Angress. I'm currently sitting opposite the big screen, the iMac. Breesa Hennessy's taken off on a wave. Matty Hayes is in front of me on the other computer. We scratched out a practice episode last night, watching the round of 32. It was dog's bollocks. So Matty's calling us into a rerun. He's got a mouthful of food.
Not anymore.
And when he not anymore, so he's about to open it up and say heat of the day, probably Geordie Smith. Either Geordie Smith, Leo Fioraventi, or Gabriella Bryan, Bella.
Better Kenworthy, Gabriella Bryant was heat of the day so far for me. Um, in overall, and then the best men's heat of the day was the Geordie Leo heat for sure. Um, yeah, Zoom decided to scratch up our recording last night. Breesa Hennessy currently has just whacked that a couple of times. She surfed that pretty good.
I'd call that pretty average considering, uh,
What we just seen.
yeah, Bella, who, you know, I didn't really watch her too much
No, same.
the previous couple of years. She impressed me in the wave pool. One thing was very obvious was a knee brace. Now, they touched on that just before, which was super interesting. She tore a medial or something
Hmm.
like that in November, which honestly is not that far ago. Like we're looking at 4 months. Most normal people, she's been a bit stressed that it's taken a while to come back, but most normal people wouldn't be able to come back and really surf world class, and she's just coming out blown. Like honestly, that first wave she got was a 7-2. That's why I love watching competition surfing and always will, Maddie. She got a 7-2, which like I watched that wave and thought, like, that was insane. That was really
Yeah.
well. That was a really good wave. Like big critical turns, finished it to the end. Gabrielle Bryan took off behind and got an 8.2. So on the paddle back out, you got to think of your Bella, like you're thinking, what do I do? What do
Yeah.
I got to do? What was that?
100%. I also thought to myself about that. The judging and the scoring on that was perfect because Bella's wave, when she surfed it, I was like, that was sick. And you quite easily could have gone 8 on that. And then that meant Gabby's first wave would have had to have been a 9. And then that means that the 9 she actually got would have had to be an 11, and it can't be an 11. So I think the scoring on that and the judging was actually sick as well. But yeah, Bella, like, she's gone under the radar, I think. Like, obviously, all the
Uh,
Ladybird chat has been about like Katie and
she's
then Erin and Tia Browski and Eden Waller and all those. And I,
she's surprised. Is
yeah,
she surprisingly tall? She's tall, isn't she?
she's quite tall. Yeah,
She looks lanky. She reminds me of unpolished version of she's young. This is a compliment of Stephanie Gilmore.
big compliment, real big compliment. Um, I think she's got like a lot of Macy Callahan attributes as well, like that taller looking,
Mm, mm.
longer. But I felt for her because I think if she went against anyone else, well, the scores proved it. She would have beaten
Yeah,
Kate. She would have been, and
yeah.
obviously I know waves are dependent, but
I think they're going to run into the men's quarters here. It's firing.
they
That's not
might.
too onshore. It's honestly firing.
It's getting better, isn't it? I mean, it is cooking.
The tide's good.
Earlier in the men's saw some pretty sick heats. I know the Geordie Leo heat was good. The Crosby George Pitar heat was really good. That I felt for that was really offshore. Like you could see how I like it when the waves aren't necessarily perfect, so you get to see how good these fuckers are. Because it was really, really windy. You could see like Crosby and George were like doing frontside wraps and like wind was getting under the board and they were having to control it. It was a really good heat to watch. Unluckily for George, he didn't quite get the scores and stuff, but
I had a morning like that in Morocco in late November with a couple of guys from Pure where we surfed early and young Benny Story, and it was
mm,
howling offshore, and you had to bend down on your knees. I'm quite tall, so I
mm.
literally was surfing waves kind of crouched, which I probably should do more often because I ended up not going
Yeah,
too bad. Here's a bit of a replay of Geordie. And Leo's heat, where you see Jory just get like fully barreled, man.
yeah, his read
Like,
was unreal.
yeah, you're just gonna have to take my word for it, listeners. But I said last night during the comp, Matty asked me who do I think was going to win, or who would I
Who's
don't
your
really
heart?
know.
What was your
But
heart?
but I had a dig at Geordie. I think it's kind of tailor made for him at the moment. I think he's in a. Yeah, I'm going to steal a word from Joey Turpel. He's in a really good space. That's
Did you
that's kind
see?
of it's
Did
kind of
you
becoming popular around the world that in a good space bullshit.
not to interrupt you a little bit there, but did you see the board Geordie paddled out on?
No.
He was on a mayhem for the first two waves, and he
Well, I
scored.
just listen. Did you just hear like Matty Biolos is in the thing? They've got a factory there, so it doesn't surprise me.
I didn't hear that. I've had it on mute while we're
Yeah,
talking.
he's got a
Um,
factory there. That's why he's going down there. And if you're someone like Geordie and you've turned up and maybe one of your boards isn't going as good as what you thought, or you snapped a couple, uh, they're not scared to. They're not scared to. Geordie's 100% not scared to get onto other people's boards. He used to come into Euroglass all the time.
and obviously he's got his own brand, so he's not going to have a go. He's not going to drop himself. He That being said, he did switch out to a Smith Shapes after the second wave, and then he got another really good wave on his own board. So
Okay,
it was
okay.
that brand.
Eyes on Matty had eyes on the ball. There's something I wanted to mention. I love the fact that Katie's wearing board shorts.
So do I. So do
I
I.
noticed Molly was wearing them early in the comp. I've got a feeling this could be because of the really strong
Son.
sun, maybe, or she has got a little bit of that Tom Board skate image. Now, I'm going to say something, and I'm not going to say something that's going to get me cancelled. And if it is, Matty will probably just cut it out on the edit. But I was a bit surprised that Caroline's surfing in a thong, and some of the girls still are with the sun and everything. Um, I just don't know. Is it being overly sexist, thinking that world-class athletes don't need to wear like that? Am I completely above and beyond culture? I mean, movies, they're like that. Everything else.
I
Is
think the
it
question
is
is,
is it performance based?
I think what you're questioning isn't anything to do with sex
No, not at all,
or
dude. I'm telling
gender,
you.
but what you're questioning is, you know, if if someone rode a long john out there when you know how hot it is, you'd be like, why have they done that? Have they done that for fashion over peak performance and progression? And what you're saying is the most protective way of protecting yourself in that heat, wearing a skimpy little bikini bottom. Unfortunately, I don't think me and you will ever be able to have first-hand answers of that because we always wear boardies. But the majority of the girls are wearing. I mean, even Gabriella Bryant was in pretty.
She's
She was
in
in
board
board
shorts.
shorts. Molly's in longer shorts now. Um, I reckon it is a
Uh
fashion thing.
are boardies do they
Definitely
risk?
coming back in fashion.
Yeah. I mean, um, it's a delicate question. Uh it's a delicate question. It's a delicate question. I know most, obviously Instagram models, it's all about being nude. It's nothing new. Nudity in sport, sex sells. one stage you say, okay, do I need it to sell myself or am I interested in it? I don't know. I don't know. I just
Playing devil's advocate on this, and this is because I am, but I'm very, very superstitious, and Caroline Marks hadn't lost a heat in this event in over 2 years. She's back-to-back back-to-back champion of this event. And last year and the year before, she would have been wearing similar or the same. So it can be. I wonder it. Like I know it might sound stupid to some people, but
same outfit, wear the
it,
same outfit.
it
I'm
could be a
I'm here.
superstition thing.
I'm smoking what you're rolling.
Mm,
Geordie,
very good.
his heat.
Yeah,
For once it actually did have um shades of J Bay in it.
yeah, and he's so
I,
reluctant to say it.
I read a review from Steve Shearer on Swell Now. He's one of surfing's best writers. I just find him so aggro, so against a lot of different things. He's a really intelligent guy, whatever. Um, Blowing the back out of it because it's in dribs and drabs, this contest. I already called that straight from the start last week, and even in my fantasy group. It's hot in the morning, it's playing out. Who cares? I don't care if I'm only watching 4 or 5 heats a day. Like, when are we gonna just not care that it has to be run? I know it annoys you, but you just got to not care that it's not run in 4 days, and you just got to not care that big sponsors want to put money into it because it's easy to package and stuff like that. Who cares?
I
Fuck it.
think
Like,
I,
it
I
is what it is. Love it or
agree with you
just
on this contest. On
watch
this contest,
soccer, mate.
on this one, I agree with you in terms of it's not there's not been a big gap in the event. It's just that they've run it in shorter bursts, so the event feels longer. What annoys me is when they have 1 day of swell and then they go on hold for 6, 7 days and then go again because you kind of forgot completely about day one.
Okay, so Matt, here's my solution to you. Send a message to Elon Musk and book yourself on his fucking spaceship to Mars.
Well,
If you don't like our weather patterns, go to another planet.
that yeah, I might have to.
You might
Uh,
have to. By the way, Molly, before she only got a 6, she's sitting on two 6.17s. How freakish is that?
yeah,
She
for
did a
one
really good
before.
fin bust, but you wouldn't be backing her to beat Gabrielle at the moment. That's
Oh,
going to be that's kind of nearly, and we're not going to get a Ethan. I've just come up with one. We're not going to get Ethan Felipe. So Gabrielle Katie's going to be one of the heats of the comp. Maybe it won't eventuate to it. Maybe it won't be as good as what we just watched before. But imagine Geordie Ethan.
Geordie Ethan would be spectacular. I also want to see in pumping waves. I want to see Cole Houshman versus Italo because I was really impressed with Cole surfing in his
I
heat.
think it's
Um,
Geordie versus Italo.
Geordie net, yeah, sorry, yeah, I meant as in if I could just pick one.
Yeah, so
Um,
you hope that Italo beats Geordie, basically. Gee, how
no, I
you've
don't.
changed your
You
stripes.
know that is not true.
You've
Um,
changed your stripes.
all right, let's have a quick look at it. Quarterfinals. So, oh no, men's quarterfinals. So Yago Dora, Matt McGilvery, Ethan Ewing, Crosby, Italo Geordie, Cole, Miguel. So Italo could face Cole, Geordie could face Cole, Miguel. Ethan's looking pretty sweet on that side of the draw.
Miggy Pupo absolutely tore the back out. He's just got an incredible style. He's so smooth. I love watching him surf.
I thought
Uh,
Yago surfed well as well.
yeah, I missed that one. I think I was driving. I was really impressed with Poopy. Oh, Poops.
Talking
He uh,
about
he
talking about
shows that size doesn't have to be power.
correct timing, real good timing and technique. Wanted to bring it up in this poddy because we did speak about it yesterday and Zoom fucked us. Um, but it might be better. Have you had another chance to watch the Kanoa Crosby heat with the interference?
Yes.
It's this. I've watched it again, and it's annoyed me more. It's got to be the stupidest rules
Yeah,
because you can have priority and block someone. The buzzer goes, you don't have priority, you can't block
it's
them.
stupid. I thought it was stupid a few years ago when the first thing came out. I didn't even understand it. I had to sit back and have one of those Forrest Gump moments to actually understand it.
Yeah, and I don't. I think like even I mean Ramsey. Yes,
You could just say, okay, the Hooters gone off then. Well, there's no more scores. If you don't
exactly.
finish, why don't they have it that? If you don't finish your ride
Before the hooter, you
before,
don't. Yeah,
then they can eliminate that problem. But yeah, I think they enjoy it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I think they enjoy that problem. Look, there's Brisa Hennessy. I don't think she's an incredible server. I don't know if she's in the. Oh, she's just going to prove me wrong. The same ballpark as Gabrielle Bryan or Katie. Like Katie, oh, Lawyer Sinberg,
Sawyer
Salzburg, Sawyer Lindbergh.
Lindblad.
Yeah, it wouldn't be lawyer. She was ripping the back out of it, backside, wasn't she?
She serves real good. Yeah. Um, her and Katie are like best friends as well. Um,
Look, there's Molly. She's got a problem with the timing, Molly. It was the end of the heat. She won. So I can't see her winning. Molly, she's made it through the semis, which is already massive. She's going to be, unless Katie wins it, or is she going to be second, or she's going to be second or first? She's neck and neck, but sometimes I think she does lack a bit of flow front side.
I completely agree, and I think that she next heat is Isabella Nichols versus Betty Lou Sakura Johnson, and I
It
think
was a
that
hell heat.
and I think that's going to be a tough heat after for Molly. Whoever wins that, I think, will be tough. I think they're both really, and I think Isabella Nichols could easily win this event.
Yeah, she has that front side hook that sometimes reminds me of Taj or something. She just
Mm.
really does it well. She's quite tall. She'll bend and she's got a little bit of a hunchback
When
where
she
she
won, yeah, she won at Margaret River, not last year, the year before, and all front side and just classy surfing. When she won that event, it was kind of like a bit Steph-esque the way she surfed. Um, Again, that was something I was going to say. We've mentioned her name twice. Steph in these waves would have been unreal to watch.
yeah, it would have been pretty good. She would have been
Untouchable.
no, no. She used to be untouchable. She would have still had a tough time taking out Gabrielle, and I got a feeling Katie, despite that little frame of hers, the way she can harness the power is because she's in the right position, which,
Yeah.
yeah, we saw with Miggy Pupo, we saw with Rob Machado, people that aren't physically as big as other people. I remember when Stephanie was early on, I said to this mother of Elisiano, I think her name was, a young French server, she ripped. She was maybe French champ a whole bunch of times. She was just behind Pauline Addo, and she came in one day after I think Steph won. Where was that right-hander in the Caribbean where Kelly won his 10th
Soup bowls.
world? No, no, it wasn't Super Bowls. They had a comp there. Here goes
Uh,
Isabel. Look at that. She's just ripping. And I think Isabel's got a better
oh,
style than Betty Lou. Even though Betty Lou will just, if she gets the right wave, she'll just blow the back out of some of these waves. If she gets the opportunity, that is. So before I got lost, anyway, so I said to this mother, I said, "Oh, I just see Steffi," and she goes, "It's not fair." Yeah, like and I said, I said it isn't. What are we going to do? Give her a handicap because she was that much better than everyone?
yeah. And weirdly, Steph, when she first came on, wasn't as she kind of like got more more slight in her frame through the years, I think.
I think that's a part of being like a really, really, really top level sportsman where you're always going for those world titles when you're already tall and slim like what she was, is the stress got to her. Living a life under the camera,
Yeah,
especially for a woman, really intense. A lot of physical criticism.
yeah. But something else I wanted to say to you is there's only been one score above 9 this whole event, which was Gabriella's, and I think the judging in this whole event, like I said it in that one heat, but the whole event, I think the judging has been really, really good.
No,
And
we'll send that memo to Filippo.
I was going to say, I was really happy when Al Cleland beat him yesterday.
Oh, I
Uh,
wanted to bring that up. I went to bed at 11:30. Like, I couldn't, I was falling asleep. Felipe was my whammy surfer.
yeah,
And
same.
I went to bed looking at the conditions, just thinking and saying to myself, how can he not win? So, is he categorically out of the top five this year?
Um, yes. I I said at the beginning of the year, and I wrote it down because I wrote down a couple of our bold claims. I said Felipe would not make the top 5 this year before a heat had been surfed. Um, I think the problem he's got this year is because of his ranking and his seeding, he's not coming up against the lowest seeds every event like he was.
Has
So
he won bells?
he has,
Don't
I
think he
so
has.
he say he has not won bells.
He has won bells. He beat Callum Robson at
Yes, he
bells, didn't
did.
he?
Yes, he
Okay,
did.
so he's won all three. He's won Snapper, Bells, and Margie's. He could win all three.
He could, but I don't think he will this year
That'd put him back in top five, wouldn't it?
because yeah, but in the previous years he's been coming up against like the lowest ranked surfer every and mainly the wildcards every event and getting through to like semis and then cracking on. Whereas now he's coming up against like Al Cleland, Crosby, mid-range guys because of his seeding. Like even he'll come up against like people like Ryan and Connor and stuff. And I don't think he can just. I don't think he could do it. I think people like I would back Leo to beat him most
If
times.
you're if you're a real fan of surfing, even though John and Gabby aren't on the tour, I don't think it's ever been so strong. Because I was just thinking then, while you were saying that, Felipe against Ramsey Bookram at Bell's 6 foot the bowl.
Yeah.
Who you going to give you? I'd I'd put my money on Ramsey, especially
I
if he
would.
was having a good day. Jeez, he's good.
Even seeing how George Pitar surfed there last year, I'd be like, he's going to take Felipe. Like if it was Chunky, I think he looks bigger, he's taller. Saying that about what you just said about the John Gabby thing not being on the tour. If I asked you right now, what do you think the final 5 will be? There's people you're leaving out that will make you think, oh shit, how am I leaving that person out?
There you go. And like, look at the four goofy footers, big guys that we've got now. We've got Connor O'Leary, Ryan Callahan, Cole Hushman, and
Ramsey.
Ramsey. Five. Yago, who's not as big as them. But I don't kind of consider Yago like them because I think
He's more like if
he's way more versatile.
yeah.
It's not so much power based. Those dudes at Bells and Margies on their backhand, they're right handers. They nearly have an advantage over some of the natural
Yeah.
footers. And those four dudes, no, not four of them, because I don't think Cole's in their league at all in frontside barrel riding. Those three and Yago, they're like,
Also though, do you not think that this? this season there's an emergence of the bigger front side or the bigger regular footers. Like, so Ethan is a big unit now.
Yep, massive.
Geordie, big guy going good. Leo is a big guy going good. Um, you've got
Yeah, definitely judging's come back to power.
yeah, you've got oh, what's his face? Al Cleland, like Crosby and Griff, like they're big guys. Like I mean, Griff's not massive, but Crosby's tall.
Crosby's pretty big fella.
Yeah, like
Who's the little dudes? Where before it used to be the
that's it.
little
And I
dudes
think they're
rule.
getting.
Tom Carroll,
You
Hockey,
think
it's just generational.
and I think that's where it's going with the fitness thing as well, is like Leo is now as fast as he's almost as fast as Felipe and like Ale Jimenez and Sammy Pupo.
They've caught Felipe up. I'm telling you. So
Yeah.
rewatch if you're listening to us. Rewatch as many times as you want. If as you want, his Heat where he whinged about the judging, and then watch the Heat before it with George Pitar.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you that George's turns were better. Like Felipe
Bigger.
threw a credit card air in at the end, but he can still win all these events. Maybe he's
Yeah.
lost a bit of confidence, but I just don't think he will. Like you said, he's not going to win them. Now it's just there's just a depth of talent and power and hungriness, and this is their one crack. There's no Gabby, there's no John. Felipe's borderlined out. Now they're all got a target on Italo's back, and he doesn't seem to care.
He loves it. And to be fair, we're talking about people with big backhand surfing. He's not a big guy or anything, but far out he whacks it backside.
Hey, so Vahini's still on tour. Is there any way she can make the final five? Because otherwise, female goofy footer is going to make the final five
Caroline.
for Fiji? Fiji, okay, Caroline, and she's a pretty good barrel rider, but she doesn't charge as much as the others.
I don't think Erin will make the final five.
Yeah, it's looking like that, eh? And I watched her heat against I forget who. And unfortunately, as much as I think she's ripped or whatever, she just looks contrived. It just looks like she was born to be a pro and she's little and it's
It
all
looks like
those
it,
serving for points.
yeah, and it also looks a little bit like trained in a wave pool type.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
she's used to having like perfection on the wave, like mechanical perfection, whereas obviously like waves get ribs and bumps in them, don't they? So here's Betty Lou on a nice wave. Ooh. Um,
Betty Lou with that right hander, I think that was one of the most underrated waves in women's serving history at backdoor.
yeah, me too.
And ever since I'm just like a massive Betty Lou fan because I wouldn't have pulled into that barrel, I'm telling you.
Fuck no. I wouldn't even paddle for it.
Hey,
Um,
so well, we have got a small break here. Snappers off the tour and they're going to Burley. We're just going to have to hope for a swell. I think Burley on its best day is better than this.
hope for a swell event.
Yeah, because I don't think it's going to be bigger than this. Honestly, I was there during one of the. Oh yeah, it was too big for it.
But
It's kind
it,
of too late for a cyclone.
interesting change of event. Like it changes a few things up. It there's some people that are going to be really. Isabella Nichols is going to be really happy that it's there. Um, Liam O'Brien becomes a very dangerous surfer out there.
It's going to be hard for him. I'm worried for him to get 4 days out there.
Yeah, I don't know it that well.
People are going to be hating on it, put it this way. People are going to be, if it's not all-time Burley or good Burley, people are going to be hating on it so bad. And if you're a Burley surfer, you'll probably be happy about that because then you'll think they're not going to come there. And if it's all-time, jeez, it's a good spot, man.
Yeah,
It's a little bit more It's a little bit more deadly than snapper for listeners that don't know anything about it. It's rock bottom where snapper's sand bottom. You got three peaks. You got an outside Covey peak where you can paddle out. That's kind of where you paddle out, and it's kind of its own section. It's before it's like a platform horizontal rock, and that's a wave of itself where you sit up there for a few waves, and then you come to the edge of the point, and then the wave runs down the point, and that's where it's sick, and that's where you get dropped in on by young kids.
What
I don't care who you are, they just drop straight in on you.
do you think they'll be doing the famous Burley rock jump?
Oh, oh, Isabel, massive front side hook.
You're
Oh
ahead of
yeah,
me.
they'll be doing rock jumps, all right. We'll probably, if we're lucky, we'll see someone come a cropper.
Yeah.
That'll make for good television.
That'd be unreal, wouldn't it?
I
Just
think Potts maybe got his surfboard up his guts
yeah,
at Burley.
up his
No, not up his
butthole.
butthole. That was Tom Carroll at a different spot. Potts got one up his guts there, like the nose went into his abdomen. It's hollow, man, and sandy.
Talking about Hollow and Sandy, taking a break from WSL chat, I had a sick set this week while working. Lucked out, content day arranged quite a while back, and we just looked at the forecast and it was 4 foot, 4 foot, and super sunny all day. Rocked up to a spot, only three people in, done the necessary, done the necessary content, photos, videos, talking about some product and testing some wetsuits, and then got to surf, and it was pumping. Um, Pretty shallow sandbar, but it was good fun, rights and lefts, and like I say, three of us out. Absolutely stoked on it. Was buzzing.
So we won't mention spots, but one of my mates, Jacko Stevenson, lives up that way, and he did. I talked to him today and I asked him, and he said it was all time. He said he got barreled, fully barreled. He was stoked.
Yeah, I had full cover up vision, backside tube, and then stayed in it too long and got clamped and didn't make it out. But full vis, and it was almost by accident actually, because I went to stand up, thought it was going to be a bit of a shouldery wave, and it was a left. I never go left, and like the bottom just dropped out of it, and I could see it happening. So like last minute, just kind of like pig dog grabbed the rail, yanked it, slid down the face. Album Bombardier, unreal board, just gripped in for me, and yeah, a couple of seconds of vis, and then cartwheel was underwater.
So how did that feel compared to a good wave in Indo? There's something about a good wave on home turf.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny. It was probably as big as any wave that I caught in Indo, maybe if not bigger, and probably shallower as well. And I felt like no fear or anything. And the whole time, if I'd have caught that wave in Indo, the whole time I would have been panicking that I was going to kill myself. But um, and people think I'm weird for this, but for me, that
You are weird, Matty.
I
Don't
am
worry about
weird.
that.
But I like surfing in wetsuits. Like I like surfing in boardies and stuff. But I just like a wetsuit.
Pipsy always liked a long leg wetsuit because he said it was good for his wobbly knees and shoulders.
Yeah. I think for me, yeah, you just feel that extra little bit of protection and I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think if I could 2 mil wetty all year round would be my go. So,
Man, we had point 0.7 of a meter at 15 to 16 seconds.
oh,
And I don't care if people want to imagine I'm a liar. We had 6 foot sets just down the road from the cafe. Who knew? I reckon after Nazare, that's the area that probably picks up the most swell in Europe. on the mainland. I don't know compared to my deer and stuff. And I got two really good waves, and then I got a big set on the head out the back. We're down to 5 minutes to go, Matty. We'll probably do another episode on Sunday, but hopefully we can get this out for people to listen to this weekend. The idea of us doing this, listeners, if you're wondering, is we really want you to understand the passion that we've got, and I reckon a lot of you guys have got as well, for watching competitions and and how mates talk to each other during a competition because you've got a lot of downtime. We can slag off the commentators and everything. But, I've had nights where I've been watching competitions like this with my mates on the telephone because if you're not in the same room, it just gives you something to talk about. What
And
do you
that's
think?
it. Like this is the typical. This is why we started this poddy because if we weren't sat here recording this and then going to publish it for other people, we'd still be having this conversation with each other, and that's where the poddy came from and what it is. And yeah, I do. We've just had an episode go live tonight that we spoke about the earlier rounds and a couple of stories from Sumatra and from Sunshine Coast, and I'll try and get this one out before finals day, or on finals day, and then we'll have a review come straight out as well because why not? People can't get enough of us, so let's give
Yeah,
them
you go.
what they want.
And one thing's for sure, there won't be any live during a comp podcast that's going down on the Australian leg. Not with the
No, no,
not
thank you.
with the not with the European time difference.
Unless someone wants to come out and pay us to do it, and then we will sacrifice ourselves for that. And if you want to make inquiries to do that, let us know. You can pay us whatever you want, and we'll determine whether it's worth
An
it.
an undisclosed figure.
Yeah. There won't.
That's
We won't tell people, but there might be signs if someone pays us 1 million because we probably won't come back.
Have you thought about the enormity of that 3 leg little mini Aussie tour? That's 4,500 kilometers traveled there.
Yeah.
It's Bells first, then Snapper, then Margie's, correct?
Well, not Snapper anymore, but yeah, but
Burley.
Gold
So
Coast.
they'll still fly into Brisbane. So they're going to fly to wherever they are to Melbourne, up to 1,000. That's the bottom of Australia. 1,000 kilometers back up, 1,500 kilometers maybe back up to Brisbane. Then 3,000 kilometers over to Perth. Come and get your frequent flyer points.
Well, am I right in thinking as well that most of the tour would probably want a different type of board to surf Bells than they will to surf Burley, than they will to surf Margaret River as well?
Oh, yeah, there's a big quiver. We've got about 2 minutes left, Matty. Kukul Core, girls in long boardies.
Coraz, back it
Four
every
hours.
day of the
I'm pulling
week.
a course. Bring it on. Epic. She's a style master. Katie for the win. Geordie for the win. Matty?
Um, I'm gonna go Ethan for the win, Gabriella Bryant for her first ever win. Um, and I think, yeah,
We'll let the mess man stand. We'll do a post competition review as well. But this, at least you'll know that it's going to be on tape that we buffed up or that we were smart or that we were lucky
or all three.
or we're free. Other quick mention, shout out to all the donkeys because there's been a 38% tariff on donkeys going into the state. So there'll be no more donkeys going in there. So lucky they've got enough in there.
Sounds sounds like they've had enough of the donkeys.
There you go. Have a good evening, Mr. Hazy.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.